Hi friends, this is Johnny back with another video, and today it is time for a fever dream. Now it's been a while since I filmed. As you see, like the background's a little different, and my hair's out because I'm trying to get used to it being short. It was like shoulder length, it was like down to here. Now it's like up to here, so they cut about like 6 inches from it. And this is like the shortest it's been in a very long time. Like I said, it's been a while since I filmed, and even longer since I filmed the fever dream, because the last fever dream I've filmed was the Barbie movie. You know, the one that never got to see the light of day. I was really excited to see the new Barbie movie, and for good reason, because that movie had no right to be that good. So I wanted to watch a Barbie movie because I've never seen one before. I had a great time filming that video. I might redo it down the line, but not right now. I had to edit that video about 7 times, and each time it said that the issue was in a different location. YouTube, what's up with that? Pick a spot, let me fix it, and when I fix it, don't say, hey, the spot's over here now. It was at the 15-minute mark, now it's at the 40-minute mark. Like, YouTube, stop it. Anyway, it's just a little frustrating when you edit something 6 and 7 times and you still can't upload it. It's happened to me like 3 times now. So I'm switching up how I do my fever dreams. I had to take a step back from the fever dreams for a little bit, because between the Barbie movie one kind of irritating me and then my dog passing away, I wasn't in a good place mentally. So I was like, you know what? I'll put a break on these for a little bit. But I'm back in time for Halloween and trying a new way of doing my fever dreams. Since it's the ooky spooky month, you know. Was that a ghost or was it a turkey? One may never know. Since it's the ooky spooky month, I've decided to go with a classic. You know, one that you have to watch every so often around Halloween time. I'm talking about Scary Godmother's Halloween Spooktacular. I won't say it's one of the movies I watch annually, but it is one that I have to watch every couple of years. Like I said, I'm switching up how I'm doing my fever dreams. I'm excited to try them out. Let's see how it goes. Hopefully YouTube won't, you know, try to stop me. Hopefully. YouTube, stop it. So let's just jump into it. Roll the intro. So we open up on a very interesting animation style that I partially really like. I love the background and the environments. There's something about them that really feel comfortable to me. Very, like, I don't know, nostalgic. Maybe they remind me of like a PS2 game or something. I don't know. There's something about them that I really like though. But that's only the environmental art style, because the people, the character designs leave a lot to be desired, if you know what I mean. Some of the background characters move very brokenly, but yes, it is Halloween night, and Daryl's running along to meet up with his friends to go trick-or-treating. And hold up, I'm sorry, are those characters from Reboot? You know what, that's a fever dream for another day. That's fine. Anyway, let's move on. And Daryl meets up with Katie, his kind of love interest, I guess? And Katie's rocking the, oh shit, it's Halloween and I don't really care, so let me go as a black cat. You know, one of those costumes, the last minute, oh fuck, I forgot I'm going to a party or something. Let me put on some cat ears and a black shirt and call it a day. She's rocking one of those costumes. You know how I feel about those. I made a whole video on types of people at Halloween parties. I think I made 2, didn't I? And let me just say, right? Let me just say that Katie has the gall, the nerve, the caucasity of it all to truly come at my man Daryl's costume. She's truly there talking shit about his costume. Meanwhile, Daryl put thought into his costume. Albeit not a lot of thought. Albeit not a good thought. But nonetheless, he put thought into his costume. What is his costume? He's a piece of candy. His logic: people will overcompensate and give him more candy because they see the bigger piece of candy that he is. Because they feel like their candy is small in comparison. Honestly, that is a child's mentality, so I will give credit to the writers. Again, not great logic, but I mean, he had some kind of logic behind his thought process. And definitely a lot more thought than, the last minute black cat Katie over there. Then comes Bert. And I love Bert's imagination. I wish I still had that imagination, but Catholic school beat it out of me. He is a baseball player in his SUV. He rolls up and Daryl asks him a very stupid question, but to hear it, he has to roll down his imaginary windows, which I love. Like, he even muffles his voice to sound like he's in the car. That's attention to detail, okay? I'm sorry. His car may be a cardboard box, but he's still going the extra mile. It is called acting, darling. Daryl's dumbass truly asks him, "Do you have any space for all the candy we're gonna get in your trunk?" Honestly, I would have left my windows rolled up for that question because his trunk is very clearly a hollow box without a bottom. Any candy you put back there will fall out, okay? Then, unfortunately, we round up the older kids with Jimmy's potentially sociopathic ass. Listen, I'm not a psychologist, and it's never safe to diagnose somebody unless you're a medical professional, but I think it's safe to say that he's a sociopath. I mean, just starting out, he jumps out trying to scare his friends, jumping from tombstone to tombstone, disrespecting people's final resting places, and leaving his young cousin alone in a dark cemetery back wherever in the shadows. And that's just what he does starting out, okay? We're gonna get into other things he does later on when they come along. And then to round up the human world's characters, we have Hannah, the baby of the group and the main character. Hannah is a fairy princess for Halloween. To emphasize, she's like, I want to say 5, 6. I don't think they ever say how old she is, but they emphasize that she's young. And Jimmy and his friends are still young enough to be trick-or-treating. So, doing that math, I'm going to say maybe 6. And everyone seems to be sweet to Hannah, except for, of course, Jimmy. Because Jimmy, is pissed off that he had to take his little cousin trick-or-treating with him, even though he was already going. And she seems very well behaved. And she seems very thoughtful. She brought everyone candy. She said, hey, we're gonna go trick-or-treating. I might as well bring everyone candy from the house. It makes sense, And it's a bit of like a thank you for letting me come. I find that cute. Jimmy doesn't like it. His friends seem to like Hannah, for the moment. But Jimmy's still pissed off about having to take her, but now even more pissed off because his friends are in scary costumes for Halloween. Meanwhile, his ass is in red sweatpants, a red hoodie, with some glued on horns, and calling it a day. Honestly, the scariest thing about his costume isn't even part of the costume. It's his blonde spiky hair, making him look like a reject from NSYNC or Backstreet Boys, or looking like the Walmart version of Spike from Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Can you tell I don't like Jimmy? Also, Buffy the Vampire Slayer is another one that I'm working on a video for because I just watched the entire series for the first time. So expect that one down the pipeline. That's a very long writing process that I'm doing for that one because 7 seasons. And each one had like 20-something episodes, so give me a bit for that one. Anyway, back to this though. Poor Hannah has some serious trauma or something because Jimmy just says the word monster. And she freaks the hell out, blinding everybody with her solar flash of a flashlight. Then when Jimmy asks her what that was about, they break into this weird improv moment where the other kids do an improv scene as Hannah's parents randomly and try to reenact what happened earlier that night with Hannah. And the entire time Hannah's just like, monsters, 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 like just repeating it anytime someone says it. I don't know where the improv scene came in from. Like, it doesn't go anywhere. They never do it again. And their yes ands were not good because it broke into like, Katie's gonna protect Hannah. No, Daryl's gonna protect Hannah. No, Katie, no, Daryl. No, Katie, no, Daryl. Like, there was no yes and. It was very no, 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 no. Girl, no. No, no, no. So they weren't good at improv. And immediately after seeing that improv scene where they explain like Hannah's scared of the monsters and all that kind of stuff, Jimmy concocts a plan to ditch Hannah, and his friends are completely cool with it. Like, okay, let's do it. How are we gonna do it? I thought y'all liked Hannah. I thought you were like, oh, she's so cute. She's like the little sister we didn't have. Like, I thought y'all liked her. So why is it that in a heartbeat you're over there like, okay, let's ditch this bitch? Like, the funny thing about it is Jimmy's like, okay, Hannah, can you go like flash your light around the cemetery for a little bit while we talk? Because I need to tell them something. And she's like, okay, Jimmy, and walks away all of like 5.5 feet, flashing her light like right there, like right off camera. And he's like talking normal volume. He's like, okay guys, this is how we're gonna ditch Hannah. And she's completely unaware. She's right there. Like, if I was Hannah, I would just like walk up to them while they're talking and just be like, also I have a child now. I love him. Like, how doesn't she hear that? She's standing right there, not making any noise. She's just like, and she doesn't hear them like, we're ditching her in the spooky house. Fuck this bitch. I'm tired of babysitting. She can die in that house for all I care, but we are ditching her ass. Like I said, the plan is to ditch her in the spooky house. She'll get scared in the house and she'll run away and go home because he wants his young cousin to run home by herself. He cares so much about other people. They perform this witchcraft of shadow puppetry because fingers don't bend that way. I am sorry, okay? Then they finally ditch Hannah in the house. I say finally like I wanted it to happen, but the process of like getting into the scary godmother of it all was very slow and tedious. But they finally ditch her in the house, and we finally meet the scary godmother, who was desperate for attention because she does like these multiple explosions of like magic and stuff, and Hannah's too busy crying. So to get her attention, she mocks Hannah's tears, because that's a thing that a normal person does. But the scary godmother isn't a normal person, because not only does she not live in the human realm, she lives in the monster realm, but also she wholeheartedly abducts Hannah. Okay, because she's like, hey, I know you're scared of monsters, right? Why don't I take you to a place where there are monsters? Good idea, right? So like I said, not only does she abduct Hannah, realistically she truly abducted Hannah. Let that sink in for a moment. But she doesn't even take her to a secondary location. She takes her beyond that. She takes her to a whole other plane of existence. To the spooky realm, or whatever they call it, where monsters exist. Again, immediately after Hannah tells her that she's scared of monsters, she's like, I'm gonna take you to this place where monsters are real. Because logic. She gets to the spooky realm and immediately sees a ghost cat that she's not afraid of. She doesn't even bat an eye at it, which is weird considering just like one surfer guitar riff ago, she was terrified of shadows. That she could clearly see her like cousin like manipulating, doing like jutsus and shit into her flashlight. How do you go from being that terrified, get on a witch's broom, and one surfer guitar riff later, you're completely fine with a ghost that's like really real in front of you, that floats around you. So we cut to the human realm for a second, where we see the older kids laughing at Hannah's suffering, you know, as one does. And then we go back to the spooky realm, where everything's fun and whimsical. And we get to meet Scully, scary godmother's broommate, if you will, who's just a tiny bit queer-coded, and honestly, they truly had this man come out of a closet, if that don't say something to you. It was a little too blatant. It was very on the nose. And Scary Godmother even calls him her
Hannah, this is Mr. Pettibone. He's our official skeleton in the closet.
Yep. Hannah learns about Scary Godmother's annual Halloween bash, and Scully gives Hannah a pep talk about monsters being good. But of course, he fails so miserably that Hannah faints out of fear. My guy truly had one job, and he fumbled it harder than a YouTuber apology. Scary Godmother decorates her house in all of 3 seconds with her magic, and honestly, I wish I can do that. That and like clean, you know? But obviously nobody know that I used magic. Everyone like, oh my god, he put so much effort into these decorations. I'm like, I know, right? Me. Let me have a little bit of credit for something here. And back on Earth, the older kids are missing out on trick-or-treating, and honestly, they deserve it for being dicks. But hey, at least Daryl and Katie are having their own fun. And even Bert joins in on the fun with some imaginary upgrades to his imaginary car. When of course Jimmy sasses him about his imaginary upgrades to his imaginary SUV, Bert destroys him with this line.
You just left your baby cousin to the mercy of killer monsters on Halloween night, and you're concerned with the additions and upgrades in my cardboard SUV?
Good point.
We return to the spooky realm, where we meet Harry, the werewolf, thespian, and honestly fat ass. And no, that's not me commenting on his weight, because I too am the thick. I'm referring to the fact that he is completely controlled by his stomach. He starts rambling about a show that he likes, and this is where we get a very weird tutorial video out of completely nowhere that doesn't happen again in the movie. We get another one in the second Scary Godmother movie, but we're not doing that right now. But yeah, it's the only one in this movie, came out of nowhere, which was literally just spread some peanut butter on one cracker, spread some jelly on another cracker, slap them together, And there you go, some mini peanut butter and jelly cracker sandwiches. I don't know who needed to hear that. I felt like everyone has done that at least once in their life. Not me, because I don't like jelly, but I've had those little crackers with the peanut butter in it before. So I don't know why it came out of complete nowhere, and again, it doesn't happen again in the movie. The next time we see it is in the second movie, but it's definitely a thing, and it just adds to this whole thing being a fever dream. Between that and the improv scene and some other things that happen in the movie, trust me. Next up, we meet the vampire family, the king and queen of the night. Oh, their names? Why, it's
Max and Ruby. Ruby and Max.
And their son and soon-to-be bestie of Hannah, Orson. But before they're besties, these vampires were literally going to consume Hannah. They were about to eat this child. Just watch this.
Help yourselves to the food.
Scary Godmother!
Oh no! This is my friend, Hannah Marie.
You see, Scary Godmother literally had to tell him, no, she's a friend. Like, they really did the whole
Fish are friends, not food.
vibe, you know? Hannah and Orson hit it off, learning about each other's cultures, and I thought that was cute. And the party slowly starts up. And this is around the time that we learned that literally no one likes Harry. I do feel a little bad for the guy, because why even invite him if you don't want him to be there? Like, if everyone's irritated by him and no one likes this man, why invite him? He's not even one of the roommates, so he didn't even need to be there. And to round up all the monsters, we meet Bugaboo, who is honestly one of the cutest of the spooky group, but Hannah has like the worst reaction to him. Just watch.
It's okay, Hannah. Take a deep breath.
If I start scaring kids after hours, I'm gonna put in for overtime.
Then after that, we have a little chase scene and then a heart-to-heart about not judging a book by its cover. Only for Hannah to still be terrified of Bugaboo. And once Bugaboo comes in, the party really kicks off. Like, I mean, kicks off so hard, so fucking intensely, that even the house gets down. The house starts dancing to the Scary Godmother theme song. We get a dance montage of everyone at the party, while back on Earth, Jimmy's absolutely miserable because he doesn't hear his cousin screaming in fear. Again, this boy ain't right. We then see the older kids fighting for power because Jimmy claimed to be the leader of the group, which leads everyone to decide to vote on the leader, and no one can decide on who the leader should be because everyone either votes for themselves or their potential significant other, leading there to be a four-way tie, one count for everyone. And this leads to a very long bit where they make Daryl do a recount over and over and over again. But we return to the Halloween party where we see that everyone's abusing Harry's unconscious body, and we get to hear the king of the night, aka
Max.
being very sexist about his wife, which honestly came out of nowhere because their relationship before that seemed very healthy, so I don't know what that was about. Then he tries to play the victim of like, woe is me, I'm the oldest one here, I feel so uncomfortable. So to compensate for that, you're sexist about your wife's outfit? I don't know what that was about. I don't listen. If I was that woman, I would have put a stake in his heart. It's time for the next husband. Keep it moving. I'm sorry, Orson. We'll find you a new daddy. Your father was broken. We then see an editing mistake where
Max.
snaps his fingers twice.
Exactly.
Which I find odd because things like that do happen. But in live action shows, like, you know, things like sitcoms and things like that, where, you know, you have to film the same scene multiple times from multiple angles. So I understand that. But this is not live action. I don't know why you would need to film the same thing twice from two different angles in an animated movie. But I honestly find things like that fun, because I like finding things like that in movies. And honestly, it's not even my biggest issue with the animation. My biggest issue with the animation is Harry's shirt. Like, look at it. Is it supposed to be a design, or is it supposed to be, like, poorly done tears and holes in the shirt that exposes fur? The patches are the same colors as fur, so I'm not sure. And it still haunts me all these years later. What is it supposed to be? Harry, being a glutton, eats all the food at the party, and so everyone decides that
Pizza is a groovy idea.
And so Harry takes it upon himself to go and try to order the pizza and asks the entire room who wants garlic. You know, to a room with a family of vampires in it. They are vampires. It is a known fact that vampires can't do garlic. So let me ask you a question. How much social awareness do you lack that you ask a room with a family of vampires in it if they want garlic? I'm just saying, I can definitely see why people don't like him, but again, why invite him? Hannah and Bugaboo have another heart-to-heart because she learns that her and Bugaboo like the same kind of pizza. She's some sick, sadistic freak that likes olives on her pizza. No, to each their own. If you like olives, enjoy them. I'm just joking. But yes, she learns that they have the same pizza preference, and that makes her realize Bugaboo's not that bad. Monsters aren't that bad. Pizza. Pizza brings people together. She also, in that conversation, learns that Jimmy's a bigger dick than she thought, because she learns that Jimmy was lying to her about some things. But of course, the heart-to-heart gets interrupted by Harry because he deems it irrelevant and thinks pizza's more important. Which of course he gets scolded for and reminded that everyone's still pissed at him for eating all the food at the party. And here we see the phone wire clipping through Harry.
Hey, point well taken.
And I always love finding things like that because it's like an unintentional Easter egg. I just find it fun. Like, anytime I accidentally, like, bump into an animated scene where a little tiny spot is, like, miscolored, or you'll see something that's supposed to be behind something, but you still see it through them, just, like, colored the same thing as their shirt or something like that. I always love things like that. Because I'm not going to pick apart something that animators took a lot of time to do, you know what I mean? Like, I know it takes a lot of work. There are bound to be mistakes, and I don't know, there's something about those mistakes that I enjoy, because I find them funnier than anything. Like, I'm not one of those people that are going to get pissed off because how dare they, you know, miscolor this or something like that. Like, I find it funny. We then return to Earth, where we find that the older kids are having emotional meltdowns about Hannah potentially being eaten by monsters, where we once again see that Jimmy cares about literally no one. Oh yeah, and chalk up assault to his list of crimes, because he slaps all of his friends simultaneously. Watch. We then return to the spooky realm and to a scene that completely threw me for a loop because I didn't even remember it and I died laughing. The pizza gets there and the skeleton delivery boy tries to get Scary Godmother to pay.
That'll be $197. Tip not included.
$200 in pizza?
Sure. 12 extra larges at 16 bucks each. Of course, you could
Sign for it.
No.
It makes me laugh so hard because honestly, it came out of nowhere. It was so out of pocket because everything's all cutesy and all of a sudden, like, this guy just like trying to get her to sign her soul away for pizza of all things was just so left field. We go from, yay, everything's fine, monsters aren't bad, to, you can always sign for it. I'm like, where did that come from? And she's just like, no. We then get Scary Godmother telling Harry off, finally. Bugaboo and Hannah get even closer, and oddly, Max tells a Lincoln assassination joke? Okay, who was that for? I guess it was supposed to, like, show his age? They find out more lies that Jimmy's been telling Hannah, and Hannah finds out that Bugaboo scares Jimmy every Thursday, proving that monster schedules are more organized than my upload schedule the past month and a half. I'm sorry, I've been going through things. The partygoers decide to get revenge for Hannah by scaring Jimmy and his friends. The scene then, like, does this weird thing where it zooms out of Scary Godmother's house and back past the pumpkin patch that you have to, like, pass to get to the house in the beginning, like when we first get there, but with the music playing in reverse. I don't know why. I guess to show that we're like going back, but the music in reverse was completely unnecessary when we've been like cutting back and forth the entire movie. We go back to the spook house in the human realm where the older kids are there arguing about who's gonna go in and look for Hannah. And I just want to point out, right, they decide to all go in together, but the only person of color in this entire movie knows better. Okay, he knows better. He's like, I'm not trying that. Until he gets peer pressured by Jimmy, of course. They get scared by the vampire family first up, and they're backing away, like, terrified, and they bump into Scully, who of course starts to sing a show tune because, you know.
Hi, Daddy.
And then proceeds to fall apart in Katie's hands. Which, in all honesty, congrats, Katie, on unlocking some new trauma.
It's a movie about trauma.
Then they bump into Harry, who's completely disinterested in scaring them, until he notices that Daryl's costume is candy. And so he proceeds to try to eat Daryl. Again, congrats on the new
trauma.
Scary Godmother pops out and leads them to the basement, where Bugaboo is waiting for them. Hannah comes through the door to save the day with her flashlight, and honestly, everyone's acting when they got flashed with a flashlight was god-awful. Except for Scully, who once again fell apart, and then Scary Godmother, who literally fucking melted. Honestly, that couldn't have felt comfortable for her. All of the older kids run out of the house scared shitless, again leaving Hannah in the house by herself. But it's okay, that gives Hannah time to look back and thank her new friends for helping her scare the older kids. Scary Godmother gives Hannah a key to the spooky realm so that Hannah can come back anytime she wants if she just puts the key into any keyhole in any door ever, which leaves it open to many more movies. However, there's only one more movie. Jimmy once again proves to us how much of a little bitch he is by popping his head in the door and begging Hannah to hold his hand on the way back home, you know, for her safety. But he wasn't concerned about her safety the entire night. So obviously, it's because she has the one thing that he thinks is a real weapon against the monsters. Let's be real, we all know he would knock her down and take that flashlight in a heartbeat, okay? He is not a good person. And then, after all the humans leave, we end the movie with all our new spooky friends creeping up on Harry, ready to throw hands. And honestly, I can't blame them. And that, my friends, is Scary Godmother's Halloween Spooktacular. So what did you think? Did you enjoy the new format for the Fever Dreams? Did you enjoy Scary Godmother's Halloween Spooktacular? Is it one of your favorites? Is it something that you have to watch annually? Like I said, I love the animation for the backgrounds and the environments and stuff like that. The people, not so much. But that's gonna do it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed this video because I really enjoyed making it. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and bing bong the ding dong down below to be alerted to when I make a new video. And until next time, maybe go check out some of my other stuff. I have some more Fever Dreams, some Florida Men, some story time, some Let's Plays, some randomness. I have a little something for everybody. And while you're at it, maybe go share one of your favorite videos of mine with your friends. We could always use more friends on the channel. And until next time, bye! Now please, if I can impart some wisdom to you, don't be a Harry. No one likes a Harry at a party, okay? Happy Halloween!
Him was you no mas. Mea ni wala hanger ng hours in the